Hi, I'm Derek, and I wanted to talk about the Fangame a little bit. I'm really happy because I've got 500 Imperial worlds that we can make unique through some not necessarily fun with random number generation, but what I've done is I've given every planet a 6-digit number, and the cat is helping. So the cat just knocked over some things. He's a good cat. And say that we have a 6-digit number, and say that the 4th digit means something in the game, like that's our industrial output. Maybe the first number represents population, and then education, and then industry, or whatever. We'll figure that out after I figure out how to get the numbers on screen. So each of these generic Imperial worlds have that number, and they're utilizing it. I haven't figured out how to get them to display correctly in the game world rather than like on the canvas. So here we see one sector with 500 worlds, and let's see if we can find which direction, because the camera controls are rather awkward, and we'll zoom out and see Terra. And each of these worlds, right now they're just sending a fleet to Terra. What's going to happen is that Terra will have a fleet, and it will send ships out, and they will then collect the tithe and return to Terra. So they work great right now, but they're just going, they're not 100%. The red dots we see, let's hit the home button. The red dots we see are because of these green squares with the little orc icon. The icon is one of the very first things that I worked on for the game. And, it's not a realistic representation of the Imperium, but it's supposed to be an overwhelming and confusing thing that might be in the brain of the High Lord of Terra, who's in charge of the Black Fleets. And so some of these are psychic impressions, but these are the red dots are worlds that these rampaging Orc-Waz have destroyed. They've just taken out of the system, and even after just a few months, because it's for testing, they have gone through a pretty good bit. Now I think I can get 20 of these sectors going. Nah, maybe not all active at the same time, but I think I can get 100,000 worlds in the Imperium. And if I can do that, then we can have 1 million, and that will be nicely overwhelming. And soon we'll be giving the player the ability to create and make some fun decisions, because right now I think the most 40k thing about it is that the player has very little control on the output. I finally got started on the tarot, the Imperial tarot, which we can see. I've got 2 cards that I'm starting with. It's always best to start with 2 things. If one stops working, you got one that does, and you can figure out why it's not working, the other one. And every time we start, it'll be random. So let me just go to my desktop. Let's start over. And yeah, we'll see that before the Emperor card was reversed, and now it's not. And let's just zoom all the way in. And what I'm hoping is that the player will just find a nice spot where they can see Terra and administer. I'm enjoying seeing the red dots appear and knowing that these rules are lost forever. But we're gonna do some things with them. Orcs aren't gonna touch the star or the world, and then it's gone in one day. We're gonna have a little bit more fun, but we're gonna watch our feature creep, because we are focused only as Master of the Black Fleets. So we only have one commodity, we only have one material, which is shipbuilding material, industry from worlds, and the Astronomicon is supposed to be that big winking beacon-looking thing. I'm not sure if that's coming across. That bit was one of the very first things that I made in Unity, because I wanted to see what it looks like in the warp. So we're getting there. There's still nothing for the player to do but watch in dismay. But we are going to start adding in the different ages of the Imperium. Or we will start. I will, because I don't have anyone to help me yet, but I'd love some help. And what's going to happen is that we're going to throw the tarot cards. Right now we only have 2, but we'll eventually have a lot at every age, and that's going to be fun, because a knowledgeable player will be able to interpret those cards and have an idea of what's going to happen, because all the cards are what's driving all the gameplay. The Emperor, the card has a bunch of attributes that we're using, like it's controlling how large the Astronomicon is. And the reason why we can see the Astronomicon from across the galaxy is that the Emperor has a lot of power. And as things progress, the Astronomicon will be harder to find. And what I'm thinking about doing today is making it so right now there's a set number. If the ships or the fleets are within a certain distance of Terra, then they reach Terra. They give they add to the power reserve attribute. But I'm thinking about changing that to be a collision box that's the size of the beacon, kind of like everywhere that beacon is touching. From there, all the navigators can easily find Terra. We don't have to track them anymore, even if it's off by a few weeks. But that'll just make it. That might be the easiest way to. And I'll use a number instead of a collision box. And thank you very much. Let's see. Home to send her into our home sector, just for ease right now. That'll become Terra. I'll switch that up. I'm just sticking with just one or two of the things that are moving around on the screen. Add more after those are perfect. But I'm looking forward to the Tyranids encroaching and all of that fun stuff, and reworking some of the art. And I have to double check, why are there no warp storms? There should be 2 or 3 randomly generated ones, but I'll have to double check if I turn those off for testing. All right, thank you, and I'll just leave it for a moment. I hope the music is playing, and just gonna zoom in to give a feel of what it would what an administrator in Terra would have to deal with. And I've got some script fonts, so I'm going to try and really make this look like the art maps in the books. So that's my inspiration. I've had a few lovely chats with Francesca, and we've shared. I basically praised her and said, "Hey, you've done this the best, and there's no other way to do it but the way that you do it." So that is why. But yes, I was given permission. But it's just the perfect style. I'm going to try to get some handwritten notes there and make everything very difficult for the player. And it looks like we are chunking a little bit, but that is because I have some problem with I'm not destroying correctly ships that are leaving the galaxy. You can see that some of them are coming back. They've gotten lost because warp travel is not perfect. Right now, about 80%, 90% of the ships are making it to Terra, and that's going to reduce over time. Everything's going to be a little bit more dark. Okay. Well, I've been told that the videos are just showing up or animating for a few moments and then just going to a still frame. So I'm working out if that's a compression issue on my fault side or not. But I do have this as a download, and it's nice. It's not optimized yet. I'm trying to get it so that I can play it at times 20 speed. But it does chunk, and so I need to figure out exactly where that is happening at. And thank you, and have a great day. And I'm going to do a Dwarf Fortress Friday thing in a little bit. But yeah, please check it out. But it maybe wait a week and check out the download when I figure out what is chunking, because I'm just going to take everything out one by one and find it.